Yes, the blessings we all share were just around the corner.
Welcome to this final day of our Exercise Patience Regional Convention.
Yes, boys and girls, we finally made it to the final day of our 2023 convention. After hours and hours of sifting through this toxic propaganda, we are on the home stretch now. But don't let your guard down because it only gets worse from here. Believe me, in this episode, we're gonna see what some dudes in the Middle East thousands of years ago can teach us about patience. You just can't make this up. And don't forget, we're still doing the cringe challenge, so if you cringe, you lose. And when you lose, let me know the exact moment you lost it. Are you ready? Let's go. Our Lord has appointed his trustworthy slave through whom he gives food in due season. What, are we praising the governing body in our songbook now?
What do we learn about the prophets? Well, they may have been spiritual giants, but they were human. Well, notice in the following video how Elijah patiently persevered despite that opposition.
When Jehovah defeated the prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel, I knew he was with me. I felt strong. And then suddenly I was running for my life, hiding from Jezebel, feeling more like a frightened child than a prophet of the Most High God, praying to die.
Elijah, the most suicidal prophet in the Bible. Best life ever.
But Jehovah took care of me.
Well, I guess they didn't have the budget to animate an angel this time.
Just as he had done so many times before. And later, he reassured me that I was not alone. I never was. There was more work to do.
This is one of the most epic stories in the Bible, where Elijah hides in a cave and God puts on a whole show for him with earthquakes and fire from heaven. But instead of using their talented CGI artist in Bethel to animate this, they just turned on a fan. Lame.
And that meant facing my enemies again. But Jehovah had been teaching me all along to wait on him.
And now what do you think? Why do we need patience, like Elijah? Well, because we face opposition and persecution too.
The Elijah of the Bible had to run for his life because Jezebel had killed off all the priests. Meanwhile, JWs are getting tax exceptions from the government. You sure use the term persecution very loosely.
Well, notice in the following dramatization how a couple who are studying the Bible cope with persecution.
Tell me more.
Well, here's the thing about patience, my brother.
Hey look, it's Winston, the same old man we covered a few weeks ago. I thought he would be just thrown into the trash like every other NPC in this program.
You're gonna need some right now. Because this story goes back more than 60 years.
England is a place of change. Over the past decade, thousands upon thousands of immigrants have arrived in our country from overseas.
Lucille and I were like many others who had come from the islands during those years, looking to start a new life. We lived with Lucille's brother who came here long before us. He was so good to us. He helped us find work and made us feel right at home. Until we started studying the Bible, that is.
These people twist the Bible to say whatever they want.
Edwin, they are good people who just want to help. That's it.
I've warned you about these people before. They may seem good, but remember, what tastes sweet in the mouth can burn the belly.
Daddy always taught us to worship God. We worship him in spirit and in truth. You know that.
No.
This is the truth, Edwin.
No, it's their truth.
Edwin, there could only be one truth.
Stay away from them.
Why can't you just see
Stay
that though?
away from them.
Man, after leaving Christianity, I can't help but just roll my eyes every time I see this. I really don't miss the petty arguments I had with other Christians from other denominations, fighting over the meaning of some old book. Oh yeah, your version of Christianity is wrong, but my particular version is definitely the correct one. Ugh.
You give this up, or you find somewhere else to live.
This is, ironically, how many witness parents react when their children don't want to follow their religion. The double standard is sickening.
Winston,
Rory.
Lucille.
I'm so sorry.
Rory and Kate, the couple studying with us, kept saying that Jehovah would help.
Take off your coat.
And I kept saying, when?
Jehovah will help you, Winston.
I know, Rory, but what is he waiting for? I mean, if Jehovah really cares about us, why doesn't he help us? I'm not sure that we can keep doing this.
Do you know who felt exactly as you feel, Winston? Elijah. He said, and he began...
Rory helped us to see how Jehovah strengthened Elijah to face his enemies.
Jehovah helped Elijah by delivering Uber Eats through an angel. Twice. And he also performed that fireworks show for him in the cave. Poor Winston doesn't get any miracles or supernatural intervention. He's just supposed to take you at your word. I don't think Elijah's story is of much help at all.
Learning the truth meant we were cast out and had to find a new home.
Yeah, this probably rarely happens.
But Elijah learned to wait on Jehovah, and so did we.
So I looked it up, and this district assembly was from 1959. It was titled When God Speaks Peace to All Nations. Wait, isn't he supposed to destroy them all? So Winston has been preaching the same nonsense for more than 60 years.
Our district assemblies are near at hand. Provision has been made for baptism on the Saturday of the assembly.
Hey look, when conventions would actually have hundreds of people being baptized.
Look, Lucy, some bread and a gift from Rory and Kate.
From that point on, we didn't let anything stop us from coming to know and love Jehovah.
What a special memory.
Now, because of his patience, Elijah saw the day that Jehovah's judgment against King Ahab was realized. He saw that Jehovah does not let the wicked go unpunished.
Yeah, he does. Because he doesn't exist. Good thing we have the judicial system to punish the criminals inside your religion.
As each day passed, it got harder to watch. It was useless turning to our leaders for help. They served false gods. Judah had become a den of false worship, injustice, and violence. But Jehovah heard my concerns, and his answer to my prayer was clear. I needed to wait.
So Jehovah has been pulling off the same lame excuse for thousands of years, huh? Is your city infested with crime and violence? Oh, just wait on me. Micah, are you sure you're not worshipping a broken record?
These were not problems I alone could fix. But I still had work to do. I delivered warnings, yes, but I also helped others learn that Jehovah promised brighter times ahead. What I had the privilege to write down will help generations to come, knowing Jehovah will hear their cries for justice too.
Jehovah delivered Jerusalem from crime and violence by using the Babylonians to violently destroy the city and kidnap its citizens. Wow, what a loving God. The speaker then proceeds to remind us that this world is full of hatred and injustice. Twice.
Well, we live in a world that is full of hatred and injustice. That's how we might feel in this world full of hatred and injustice
And how will Jehovah deliver this world from hatred or injustice? By violently destroying 8 billion people. Makes complete sense.
So how can we cope? Well, in the following dramatization, note how Winston is patient like Micah when faced with injustice.
The arrival of so many foreigners had caused tension for many years.
Something new and ugly raises its head in Britain.
And by the 1960s, we were living in turbulent times.
Some of the gangs who break windows or throw bottles or burning torches have arrived by car. Opinions differ about Britain.
This is an injustice! Look at all this! Should bricks be thrown through our windows? Just because we work here, Winston? Should our people be met with violence in the street? Just because of the color of our skin? You're just going to let them do this to you?
I want to turn the other cheek, Maxwell.
Why? So they can slap you again?
I love this comeback because it's so true.
You need to stand up. This is the only way. We can make a difference.
This weighed heavy on my heart. And then...
Hey, what happened?
It struck even closer to home. My Lucille was horribly mistreated at work because of the color of her skin.
And then he spit in my face.
Enough is enough. How much more of this we have to take? It's too much, Lucy.
It was hard not to dwell on every slight, every insult hurled at us for no reason. I couldn't quiet my mind until I turned to Jehovah.
Wait, are you talking about Jehovah, the same tribal war god who told Moses to codify slavery and who allowed his people to beat their slaves as long as they didn't die for 2 days? This Jehovah?
Putting trust in him rather than man was the only way we could endure.
You know, I realized something today. All this hatred, discrimination, it is only gonna get worse in these last days, Lucy.
So someone just spit on your wife because of her skin color. How is this any comfort? You're just gonna be like, oh yeah, honey, you have to learn to take this abuse because the Bible something something. And of course, she's just nodding along like a good submissive wife.
I found a verse for us. Micah 7:7. But as for me, it is for Jehovah that I shall keep on the lookout. I will show a waiting attitude for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. Jehovah is the only one who can put an end, a real end to suffering. He hears our prayers. We just need to wait on him.
Winston, you are right. You are so right.
Look at that good Watchtower robot.
Instead of dwelling on every injustice, I let the ministry give me peace of mind.
What go on, Winston?
Everything Irie, Maxwell. Been a good morning.
Is it good? You decide to do something, brother?
Yes. I know exactly what I'm going to do.
I'm just going to sit on my ass and do absolutely nothing while I wait for Jehovah to magically poof all the bad guys off the face of the earth.
Let me show you how Jehovah will put an end to injustice.
God damn, imagine if people like Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela were Jehovah's Witnesses. Old man Winston would have been lynched out in the streets by now. He did nothing to defend his civil rights, but he gets to reap all the benefits? Isn't that convenient?
Satan will test our patience.
And of course, they chose a black speaker for this. Just the cherry on top.
Daily we could be bombarded with videos and news reports of acts of injustice. These can appear right on our telephones. It's as if Satan is taunting us, saying, yeah, I treat people badly. What are you going to do about it?
I wonder where this is in the Bible.
We know no human governments, no social movements, no protests can eliminate injustice, but God's kingdom can and will.
So the activists who fought for your civil rights didn't actually do anything. Let's see. How many times has God's kingdom fought for civil rights? Oh yeah.
0. And we are confident that we will face injustice because individuals hate the God we worship.
Oh brother, please. 4 billion people worship the same God you do, although in slightly different ways. No one hates your God. I don't hate your God for the same reasons I don't hate the other thousands of gods out there. The only reason you might get any hate is because your religion constantly infringes upon human rights.
Have you ever preached weeks on end with little or no response?
Yep, I didn't make a single convert during my 8 years as a baptized publisher, and I'm sure that's the case with most JWs now.
Imagine doing so month after month, year after year for 60 years. That was the patience of the prophet Hosea.
What a loser.
Hosea's wife committed adultery repeatedly and abandoned him.
Damn, can this possibly get any worse?
Then Jehovah requires Hosea to find her, to take her back, forgive her, and love her once again. That would require patience. Why would Jehovah allow Hosea to go through this? The reason? To powerfully illustrate Jehovah's own patience with his wayward people.
So, Hosea is told by Jehovah to preach to the Israelites, knowing very well that no one's gonna listen to him. Then he tells Hosea to marry the neighborhood hoe, and surprise surprise, she turns out to be a serial cheater. So Hosea is all sad and broken, but then Jehovah forces him to forgive the woman and pay 15 shekels of silver to get her back. All because he wants to make an illustration? Hey Hosea, I want to illustrate how much I love my people, and the only way to do so is to ignore your feelings and treat you like garbage. Damn! I never read this one in my book of Bible stories.
It hurt, but it wasn't a surprise. Jehovah had told me to marry Gomer knowing she would be unfaithful. Just as Jehovah's people were unfaithful to him.
Another shitty move from Big J.
Even though she left me, I knew what I had to do. Go once again, Jehovah told me. Love the woman who is loved by another man and is committing adultery. Just as Jehovah loves the people of Israel while they turn to other gods. But what I did was small compared to how Jehovah was willing to take back his people with open arms.
What's the lesson?
I don't know, man. What lesson could we possibly extract from this atrocity?
What does Jehovah want? He wants us to forgive like he does.
And couldn't he just have said it?
In the following dramatization, note how our brother is patient like Hosea.
The major cause of inflation at home, he argued, was rising world commodity prices, over which Britain had no control.
In the years that followed, Lucille and I were barely scraping by. But we had many blessings, including one named Terence.
Goo goo gaga, I'm a baby.
I begged Jehovah to help me take good care of my family. And that's when our patience was tested in a way we never expected. A friend came to me with a big plan. He said, "Let's work together, Winston, you and me. We'll get bigger jobs and earn more money in less time, Winston." That sounded like an answer to a prayer. So we put every penny we had been saving up into the new business. And then, not long after we started, he walked out on me, just like that.
Hey, he was just following Watchtower's direction to stay as poor as possible. That's why he bailed.
Instead of bigger jobs, I ended up with bigger bills and a lot of debt. And that wasn't the worst of it.
In tonight's reading, we're going to see how Jehovah used
You see, he wasn't just my friend. He was our spiritual brother.
I'm definitely disappointed that this episode was not about Winston's wife cheating on him and then Jehovah forcing him to forgive her. I mean, you want to imitate Hosea's example, don't you?
I don't know. Maybe I rushed into the whole thing. You know? Maybe...
No, you don't need to blame yourself. What he did to us was wrong.
He did apologize.
After how long? He turned his back on you, Winston.
The Israelites, they turned their backs on Jehovah, and he forgave them again and again.
Well, that is Jehovah. I am just Lucille Campbell. My heart is not as big as his.
Your heart is pretty big, Lucy.
But is it big enough for this?
I gotta love some forced forgiveness, am I right?
It wasn't easy to find the forgiveness in our hearts at first.
How you doing? All right. You're working hard.
But we found it. And it was worth the wait.
Now the speaker goes on a bit of a peace stroke.
Patient, patient. Show patience. Patient, patience. Active patience. Patient, patience. Patiently leaving the matter with Jehovah.
You know, in the following dramatization, note how Isaiah not only cared for his family's spiritual needs, but also his prophetic assignment.
5 simple words changed my life. Here I am, send me. And so I went to bring the light of Jehovah's message to a darkened world. But the nation refused to listen. It was a difficult assignment, but it wasn't my only one. Along with our prophetic work, my wife and I had another important assignment: raising our children to love Jehovah. Jehovah even told me to take my son, Cashapp, along with me to deliver a message to the king.
So fucking irresponsible. At least he didn't ask Isaiah to sacrifice his son.
Nothing could diminish the joy of seeing our children grow to love Jehovah. Our strength would be in keeping calm and showing trust in him.
Isaiah's sons could have become Baal worshippers as far as we know, because the Bible never mentions what happens to them. More Bible fan fiction.
Did you notice in the video that Isaiah needed patience for both his prophetic assignment, but also his family responsibilities? So why do parents need patience like that of Isaiah today?
Yeah, because it's much harder to indoctrinate children now than it was in the Iron Age.
As time passed, things didn't get easier, but Jehovah kept us busy.
This Watchtower, you know, it's really gonna help us.
We had the congregation, of course, and we were still working hard to raise Terence to love Jehovah in a tough environment. He was growing so fast, and we were doing our best. But you know, not all dangers come at you with a hostile face.
Nope, some of them come at you with a rubber face.
Terence, you're one of the best players in the school, which is why the county manager wants you to try out for the program.
Do what now?
Well, it's to apply for the county youth program. I mean, coach says I definitely have what it takes.
Listen, Terence, I know you love to play. I do too, but we live a different life. We can't let a game get in the way of more important
it's more than just a game,
things, you know?
okay? There aren't enough players who look like me on the pitch.
But what if I can make a difference? You know, not just for the team, but for the community.
It was something we hadn't heard before. We didn't know what was going on inside.
Where is all this coming from?
You guys don't understand.
But it gave us a look at the man he could become without Jehovah.
A successful player? How about a pride to his community? Oh, where is this coming, son? I didn't teach you to think about stuff Watchtower doesn't approve of.
We created more opportunities to give him the time and space to express himself from the heart.
You know, like I said, I love the truth, and there's nothing that makes me even happier. But when I play...
You see all these weeds here? You want to pull one out, you pull it out, another one just pop out where it used to be.
So, if you see your son is not fully committed to become a Watchtower slave, take him to the forest and pretend to listen to him.
Wow, I didn't know all this about Isaiah.
He was busy as a prophet, but they served Jehovah together as a family.
So, are you gonna take me around to witness to the Prime Minister, Dad?
My son, I would be proud to take you with me anywhere.
Except if you're disfellowshipped.
Starting tomorrow morning for the ministry group, 9 a.m.
What a fanatical man.
So to review, we can imitate the patience of Isaiah if we inculcate the truth in our families.
Inculcate. Such a culty word. I've never heard it used outside Watchtower circles. Ugh, well, beautiful people, before you overdose on cringe there, I need to take a few seconds to ask you for a huge favor. You can imagine that watching all this propaganda and editing the videos takes a lot of my time and energy, but I would like to have a consistent upload schedule from now on, and that's where Patreon comes in. Patreon is the best way to support independent creators like me, because for only $1 a month, which is like the price of a cup of coffee, you gain early access to all my videos as soon as I finish editing them. Now you might think, Panda, how is $1 going to help this channel? Well, dear viewer, if enough people decide to support the channel, that makes a huge difference, $1 at a time. It helps me dedicate more time to producing these videos without having to worry too much about making ends meet. So please consider supporting me through Patreon, or you can also become a channel member here on YouTube. You get exactly the same perks. My goal is to hit 50 Patreons before the end of the year. You guys are the best. Now let's get back to our programming.
Have you ever looked forward to enjoying a theocratic assignment, a privilege of some kind, only to realize that you're not going to be able to? In the following video, note how Ezekiel patiently carried out this challenging God-given assignment.
I knew the life of a prophet wouldn't be easy, but who could have imagined this?
Well, boys and girls, this shows us that Jehovah has been giving his servants long, repetitive tasks since forever. This is the Iron Age equivalent of standing next to a literature cart, but somehow even worse. I wonder if Ezekiel also had to turn in a monthly ministry report.
I did all that Jehovah asked, to warn my people of the destruction to come. But this was not the assignment I expected. As a child, I dreamed of being a priest in the temple, like my father. Now that temple is just a memory. But it will not always be that way. Delivering these powerful messages of better things to come has been more than my commission. It's been my greatest joy and comfort. And I can imagine no greater privilege.
What happened? Did the CGI team just disappear from this project? This was the perfect chance for them to show Jehovah's chariot with all those creepy wheeled angels. Another fumbled opportunity. And all these prophets have been treated like crap so far. Elijah wanted to die, Hosea was forced to marry a promiscuous woman, Isaiah was forced to preach naked for 3 years. Oh yeah, they didn't mention that in the video, did they? And Ezekiel had to perform all sorts of silly signs, laying on his side for months, eating bread cooked over animal feces, and whatever the fuck this is. Jehovah definitely has a sick sense of humor.
In the following dramatization, let's re-enter the life of Winston and Lucy and notice how they cope with a disappointment, an unexpected disappointment in their life, not being able to pursue a theocratic goal.
Then we got 2 calls that changed our lives. The first was an invitation to become international volunteers. It was just what we were praying for. We couldn't wait to start. And then we got the second call. Lucy was going to need treatment right away. We were scared and disappointed. We turned down the assignment. We had to. We felt empty.
Wait, why would you feel empty if you have Jehovah?
All we could do was take it one day at a time.
How do I look? And before you answer, remember what the Bible says in Colossians. Do not be lying to one another.
You look beautiful, Lucy.
Yeah, this is like the only wholesome moment in the entire convention.
I was just looking in that mirror and thinking of Ezekiel. He had to shave his head too, with a sword, but for a very different reason.
Lucy.
Hey, at least Jehovah didn't ask you to run around naked for 3 years.
I'm scared. I feel like I've let you down. Jehovah too.
Lucy, Lucy. With your courage and determination, Jehovah could not be more proud of you. And neither could I. So let's keep giving him the best we can. Together.
Yeah, and hopefully he can hook you up with some acting classes.
None of us are professional actors.
What a disappointment. What a beautiful sentiment that is. Let's remember that Jehovah can and will bless us, no matter what the assignment that we have.
So then, why are we gonna strive to do more free labor for Watchtower if God will bless any assignment you currently have? Wait, am I asking the wrong questions?
What would you be willing to sacrifice to save someone's life?
That's an awkward question for our first date.
But why did Jeremiah need patience? Well, he had to make significant sacrifices for some 40 years. For example, he was a priest, he was a talented scholar, he had an associate Barak who had connections directly to royalty, but he could not take advantage at all of opportunities for riches or any kind of prominence. But beyond that, Jehovah actually commanded him not to marry or have a family. In fact, he's the only prophet to receive such a command in the Bible record.
Oh, it all makes sense now. No wonder Jeremiah was so close to his secretary.
So he had to be willing to sacrifice what he may have expected in his own life to save other lives.
Outside of these walls, prophecy was being fulfilled.
Bah.
Jehovah brought calamity on Jerusalem. During my confinement, I had time to reflect on my years of service to Jehovah. I was young when Jehovah called me to be a prophet to the nations, and he commanded me not to marry or have children during these critical times. Jehovah gave me difficult assignments, and I often found myself in dangerous situations.
Best life ever.
But every word Jehovah spoke to me came true. As the years passed, I saw the true wisdom of Jehovah's instruction. I have no regrets over the sacrifices I made.
How would you even know this? Jeremiah spent his entire life being mistreated in the gallows. He had more shitty assignments than Ezekiel. He saw his city burnt down and lived the rest of his days as an exile in Egypt. Hell, he even wrote the saddest book in all of the Bible. This sexually repressed prophet was probably filled with regret. And he should have turned down Big J's job offer.
Come on, Winston. They'll be here in a minute. And turn off that television.
It would be easy to become anxious.
It seems clear. A tough road lies ahead.
Is that my boy?
That's why we were glad that Terence and his wife Gillian were serving Jehovah to the full. They had moved to where the need was greater, but they always made time to travel up and see their old parents.
So, we've got some news. I've been offered a new position at work.
Is that right?
Yep. They've offered more pay, though I'm going to have to make some adjustments. I might need to stop pioneering, but just for a while. But we really think this is the best decision because it will help us to be able to help you.
Okay, sounds reasonable. He's following the Bible's advice to honor his parents. End of conversation, right?
What you saying now? No, don't make a fuss over us.
Mum, please, let me just say this. You know, you and Dad have given so much to Jehovah over the years. So if you haven't been able to put away much for the future, then please let us help.
Times are tougher than ever, and we want you to be comfortable. You have been through a lot, Lucille.
To hear you say that makes our hearts so glad. But you know, what you are doing in your ministry, now that helps us to lay our heads softly on our pillows at night.
Speak for yourself, dude. Your wife was already envisioning herself in a comfortable retirement, you asshole.
Yes, we lived a simple life. But it wasn't just a circumstance. It was a choice.
Was it really much of a choice if you're being constantly brainwashed to live on the bare minimum?
There were chances for us to do things differently. But we made serving Jehovah the most important thing in our lives.
We gave Jehovah our best, knowing that he would take care of us, not just now, but in the new world too.
And where is that new world, Grandma? I don't see it.
So Terence, Gillian, the day may come where we might need your help. But today is not that day. We still have some miles left to go.
Well, we'll pray about it. And I won't rush into any decisions.
I know, my son. I know.
I can't take it. Your son sounds just like you.
And what is wrong with that, Miss Lucy?
Nothing at all.
I bet there's thousands of parents out there who would kill to have a son like Terence. Watchtower doesn't want its members to get comfortable, even on their final years. Just like an old, decrepit hamster being forced back on the wheel.
We know that things we are sacrificing now are simply being stored away for future use, because Jehovah has promised you and to me in Psalm 145 that he will satisfy the desire of every living thing.
So is Jeremiah going to get a few virgins for himself in paradise? Or is Jehovah just going to give him blue balls for all eternity? After what felt like an eternity of terrible talks, we finally arrive at the end of this long-ass symposium, with this talk given by a man with one foot on the grave.
The young man Daniel was included with the group that was taken to Babylon as a captive.
Yeah, not the most gracious of speakers.
I waited many years for us to return to Judah.
Seeing my brothers and sisters return home to Jerusalem filled me with joy and broke my heart. My broken body was too old to make the journey. But how could I not be grateful? I've seen kingdoms rise and fall. And through it all, Jehovah was by my side, and he still is. Jehovah promised that someday I will stand again among God's people, and his promises never fail.
They never fail, like the handful of prophecies in your book that never came true. A book that, let me remind you, was not written in the 6th century Babylonian exile, but much, much later. Yeah, what an uplifting track record of fulfilled prophecies.
As I look through the entire audience now, and as I scan over it, many of you, dear brothers and sisters, are in the winter years of your life. And you have gone ahead and you have exercised patience for all of those years because you trust in Jehovah. And during that particular time, what happened?
I'll tell you what happened. None of your end-time predictions came true.
So you see, I had to learn to be patient. And it's only taken me a lifetime.
So there's no secret?
No secret.
This speaker seems very, very similar to old Winston. Are they the same person?
But I'll be honest with you, Thomas. After all these years, I'm still working on it. You see, I thought I had this whole patience thing figured out long ago. But then, I never thought I'd have to do this alone. I miss her every day. But there are no shortcuts. I just have to wait to see her alive again. And I pray to Jehovah, hurry up. I want to see my Lucille again. I'm still learning.
Hopefully we have acting classes in paradise.
Doesn't matter how old we get, we're still precious in Jehovah's eyes. And we can still be strong for him in our own way. But part of being strong, Thomas, is learning to wait on Jehovah. He'll do the rest. He always does.
Aw, this would be super uplifting if we weren't talking about a completely fabricated hope for the future. Well, what did we learn from this 6 Talk Symposium, boys and girls? Be patient when you're racially discriminated against, and by patience we mean sit on your ass and do nothing about it. When a fellow cult member goes back on his words and screws you over, you're forced to forgive him, and when your son offers to take care of you, stubbornly refuse to enjoy a peaceful retirement. Wow, Winston, you're such a shining example on how to live life. I'm sure following all of these tips will never backfire on anyone.
Wasn't this a beautiful, beautiful symposium? Going over.
Well guys, let me know what you thought of this talk in the comments below, and let me know the exact moment you lost the cringe challenge because I love reading your comments. We're almost finished with the convention rebuttals, so don't forget to smash the subscribe button so you don't miss the finale. Once again, a special thank you to my beautiful Patreon community and all the channel members here on YouTube. Take it easy guys, have a wonderful day, and stay away from the tower.